Merhabalar.
Hello, everyone. In order to attract your attention, one good news, one bad news. The bad news, CBAM is here to stay, and it is a permanent and an expensive practice. And the good thing we can fight against because this is a risk. If there's a risk, there is an opportunity coming together. I will tell you where it started, CBAM, why I'm here. I would like to thank you for participation. Your 20th year will be our first year. We are an English company working on carbon. They invited me from London, and we have more than 500 customers and 5 million tons of carbon we provide, and more than 40 countries we exist, and we have a carbon forward conferences to talk about carbon. We don't have any financial expectation, just with all the stakeholders we talk carbon. Now, why there is CBAM and what are the main challenges and how it affects globally industry, how we can have methodology, how the Turkish steel industry affected, what is our risks and how we can fight against. There will be presentation. I know you have questions and I will spare more time. And first of all, in the world carbon markets, in the basic, there are two main things. One of them is cap and trade. All of them are emissions, which is our carbon footprint to reduce them, cap and trade. And the second one is voluntary carbon markets. And I wish that I will contribute as a company, and you say I wish it, and then or definitely it is a will and something coming from the market, your customers or final users want it. What does it mean? The volunteer markets, for example, as of 2029, I have a strategy to make it zero, their own strategical decision. It is not binding with any country politics universe saying. This shows a will that they say, I will do this. On the other hand, it is obligatory. It is not because of the for 20 years European Union, England is within this system and they are leading. We need to accept European Union is have taken the most important steps in the world, and emission trade system is there for 20 years, and in the global they want it to be applied because as they price carbon, they want everyone to recognize the load in the industry, and then the in industries, vessel industry and airports. For example, if a vessel company from Turkey, they will travel to Europe, there are regulations, and then to Europe or England, they pay a price over carbon. This is valid now, and most important thing is the financial risk. When we say carbon, along with that, there is the financial risk and the emission trade system in EU. What are the basics? First of all the word, it means one UEI is 1 tons. So when we say it's equal to 1 unit, these are either went on tender based on the situation or by the countries to certain industry of trade. As you know, in Turkey, there is the emission trade system, the same way similar to Europe. They are doing it And generally, this EUA and difference with CBAM, it's very important. They don't have a deadline until they are valid, but the CBAM certificates will not be like that. It will be maximum 2 years. It is tradable as a commodity. It can be transferable and it can be sellable between the companies or within the market. And I'm telling the UIEs because their prices and mechanism establish CBAM. We need to understand EUA, the rules and mechanism of the European Union as to how CBAM is created. Now, in 2015, 10 years from past, how the EUA is going, as I said, these are like electricity and gas, and as they are commodity, both political, technical, and fundamental topics are affected. It is very sensitive and in parallel with the gas. So if there is a crisis and the crisis between Russia and Ukraine, it affects a lot. And the policies are come from this Repower EU. So new legal and political decisions it affects and the volumes to be provided into the market changes. So we need to know EUA prices, including American politics, it is affected, it is sensitive and fluctuating politics. So why is where CBAM comes from? European Union over their own industries, they put a price, so it's like a carbon tax. They put on their shoulder, and within the union, I put a carbon tax. So for the products coming out of the union, if they don't have carbon trade system, there won't be a tax system. Therefore, carbon as they come carbon free, there is an injustice. Therefore, right now to their own industries, they provide some free allowances to balance it. But what happens? The load is still on their own industry. Now they took decision. I don't want to do that like this. I carried this load for many times, so this should go beyond my borders. If in your country,
ticaret sistemi ya da karbonun bir fiyatı
if you have a carbon price, okay, we will reduce it. Otherwise, I want to establish this balance, and they put a transition time, and in years until 2014, they said I will balance this, and gradually they started to establish this balance. CBAM 2026 as of 1st of January will be enforced. That is certain. We are still doing reportings, but as there is no financial responsibility, it's wrong. We have financial burdens in 2026. Only the payments are 2027. So we have 2026 financial responsibilities, and only they will be paid in 2027. Now I will continue. And it says here, previously for the products coming abroad, I was not getting tax. Now I will balance it wherever it comes. Even it is inside, I put tax, and if it is out, I will also put. And we have our net zero objective. And in 2040, the EUA transaction will not be for European Union. And what does CBAM covers? These are the topics we know. Cement, electricity, fertilizer, iron, steel, aluminum, and hydrogen. And they said that the emission emitters I'm interested in. So the small ones I don't care. If they have 50 tons per year, they are exempted. It's not in CBAM scope. And if it is personal or military, we are also okay, no problem. So they say that please, the cement industry, iron, steel, and electric shall do their own calculations in 2024-25. We are sending these and we are doing the reportings. The only difference as of 2026, you need to verify whether your calculations were not being checked. But as of 2026, European Commission will set verifiers, and by those verifiers, with those verifying data, after your reports are confirmed, so you can measure, but if it is not verified, it won't be valid. And then in 2006 certificates, including 2027, the first purchases and then first deliveries to the, it will start, and it says if you don't perform it, then the price of the CBAM certificate is 100 euro per tons. If you are not in authorized and still you come to my door, then 500 euros per tons additional tax I will be bringing. And it says I pay attention to this politics, and we say that they don't allow any leakage or backdoor efforts, and the cost of this will be heavy burden in your bills. So in a while we mentioned in this timeline it started reporting, and as of 1st of January it will be definite, and all the responsibilities for 2026 as of 31st of March in the quarters periods by reporting them, and the first deadline 31st of October 2027, and then in the November, if you need to make a trade-off, then the deadline will be of 1st of November 2029, and then with the extension in January 2030, the scopes will extend only, not only these 5 subsectors, but also the sub-tire industries will be involved into the system. And when it is completed, all the industries, all the sectors will be added into the system. And this is a very important chart. This is showing that in European Union, these industries, they are paying for carbon tax, how they will go out of the system, and how out of the commission. If they are selling a product, how we will enter to the system. So with a slow start, they will start and we will rise in the price percentage. While they become zero, we will be 100% tax paying. And how it will work, this system, when that moment comes, CBAM pricing previously, I'm sorry, it was previously a different thing we were doing. Calculation right now with the new practices, they said that in 2027, the weekly price, the average, and the amount of the volumes, if it goes 1,000 tons and then 100,000 tons, there will be balancing both price unit and the average weekly prices I will be setting. So the CBAM price is not certain yet that week. It will be set according to your needs. So this is important because they say in the uncertainties, but many things are certain. So in every talks, I want to mention this again. While we take our measures. We need to take our measures from now on by understanding those risks, because what they say, this definite talks will not change, but that where they give pre-information and finalize later. Please pay attention to finals and the sector, and we should not be behind it, because your rivals in the industry are taking measures and they are making a mechanism based on that. This is very important topic. There is no CBAM, or thinking that it will not happen can be the biggest risk to be made. So how these prices will go in European Union? There are departments working on the price issue and independent institutions, and we work with 12 institutions, and based on their price celebrations, the price in between is the highest 260 euros in 2033-34, and the lowest one can be lower than 200. But none of the institutions see lower than 150 or 160, and in average, generally 170, 175 in 2034. This is average. When you look at the worst case scenario, it is 260, 275. So what impacts these prices? We looked historically. What do we see now? The European Union showed this in 2050, I believe, my net zero objective. What it means? The EUA amounts will reduce. So the product amount in the market will reduce gradually, and along with that, that tightening of annual cap will be reducing. However, what we want to get the industries is it will involve, and the emission trade too will also increase it, and supply and demand will be in a shortage. CBAM will cover all the industry, and also it will cover like glass, automotive, all the sub industries. So the stocks will be reduced. And what do we do? Is this rebound too is reducing, and there is this shrinkage, and all the prices are according to this. And the price of the European Commission is the cap carbon price vortex, and as of 2021 the prices is going to 200, and these blue ones can be existing in the market, but as they will not be pumped into the system, and as they don't have a deadline, they can use it as investment tools, the funds. So when it comes to the system, when it will be in the secondary market, and as we don't know, there will be more industries to go as buyers, and the EUA options to be reduced causes a shortfall actually from 192 millions, and when we come to 2027 the same way, all of them are causing the triggering of the prices. And we said, I agree, everyone. We talk in the beginning of the CBAM is not completed. It has some lacking things. Actually, in our proverb says, you arrange the caravan on the road, but Europe is also attending that, and getting the feedbacks of the industry is not easy. So we need to pay attention to them. Electricity industry is in difficulty because their CBAM portfolio is 5%. It's not coming to that, and from Turkey to Bulgaria, we don't know what they will do, but we know what he's going to do, and there is the CBAM poster in 2026. We always say, with our current knowledge and the legal final version, there will be a risk analysis and getting. We are always talking about omnibus. Yes, it is out of CBAM, but when you look at this, is 3% of emissions, and the number of the companies reduced, but as emissions nothing changed. It is very important difference. Omnibus is a numerical. It is from the system, and their carbon emissions, which are out of the system. We didn't want to lose time with paperworks, and in 2026 certificates will not be sold, but the financial responsibility will continue and carry to 2027. Default values are uncertain, benchmarks are uncertain, but there is a liquid document, and over them there is a financial difference. I'm not going to Global Trade Forum now. Very shortly, it is very certain CBAM sectors, the companies which are inside, it will change their understanding of trade. China, Turkey will be affected, England will be affected. Therefore, they started negotiating with EU, and after the Brexit, they are out of the emission trade, and they have this one. And so this doesn't mean that England is not subjected to EUA, but they are. So they started negotiation. There will be linkage of the European Union system, CBAM system, and this shows how serious they are by European Union. So European Union didn't say UK that you are out of the scope. They said you are also involved. If you want, you can come, and we can do it with the linkage emission system. And they did this to America and also to Ukraine still. And they don't exempted that. And I want to remind again, you will hear a lot. CBAM is here to stay. Please do not assume it will not happen. Let's develop strategy. The most industry is steel, iron and aluminum, and then cement industry. These are for sure, you know, your products coming from abroad. And actually from Turkey to Europe, they have a problem as well. Therefore, I want to highlight my idea here. It is important to develop politics. We need to look inside, and I want to remind the climate ministry. We work with them as advisors, both with UK government and working groups. Turkey emission trade starts as of 1st of January. I'm in the working group. It's an important development. There will be some load to our industry, but in the long term, it's an important whether can we support exposed industries. And again, what Mr. Uğur says, yes, maybe we can have problems, a little bit problem, then in the future it will be. I ask you, please do not assume there is no CBAM, and emission trade system will be a reflection of this. And now For EU CBAM Turkey, what is the impact? Think like that. Between 2 to 3% to European Union, there will be a reduction. And due to CBAM 2026 only, the cost is 771 million pounds. This is just the first day, and when it comes to 2037, it will be 2.5 billion per annual euros. This is what is foreseen, and for steel in 2026, 11%, in addition to prices, and within the aluminium, there will be a rise in 2026. And in this case, when you look from the industry wise in 2030, if we are to export 100 million tons, 24 million tons for clinker, for fertilizers, and for aluminium, 127 million euros for every 100 tons. We are talking about such a cost. And when it comes to 2024, for the same product and tons, the prices doubles in clinker. So when you look at to the fertilizer, it's 10 times, in aluminium 39 to 40 million tons, and when it comes to steel, it's nearly 200 million tons. So financial data I wanted to share to show how important CBM is. Okay, what we're gonna do? Good news now. We say like this. Imagine that we are in Turkey and the flat round product, silicon, electronics, steel, CN code is certain, and we said 100,000 tons, and in my country, as it is not here right now, we will have in 2028 in Turkey, I pay zero in my country for carbon, and it says to me, according to the final leaked document, you can have actual embedded emission per tons, what it will be, and then CBAM, put CBAM benchmark, and then give me whether you have in your country. No, zero. What does it give me? Actual specific embedded emission 10.99 per tons, the leaked document. Then as a benchmark, you will give me 1.08, and my factor will be 97.5 of 100. Then we calculate as a result the amount of the certificate I need to get as of today based on leaked document. For every 100,000 tons, the certificate price is 1 million. Now let's come to financially, what are we talking about? You have done nothing, you said there is no CBAM, and then CBAM come to your door. You didn't get any measures. So with this formula, with this scenario, in 2026, 1 million ton, the forecasted AUA is 91 euros. Today it is traded in 83 euros, and its cost is 90 million. And in 2034, you are out of 190 million, the total cost until 2039, 1.2 billion. If you don't do anything now, and if you take CBAM is non-existing. So let's say you develop a strategy and you say, I want to do something. What you want to do, actually, as a company, we are working for that, and we are trying to help the companies for that from here. So I believe it exists, and then I develop accordingly, and I want to fix my cost, and I will hedge it. The CBAM certificate, today can we get certificate? No, it's not existing, and in 2027 but we say we act like there is CBAM certificate. If you sell virtual CBAM certificate, you can fix it from today. What will it be costing to you? 1.2 billion in total. And actually, when you look at 40% of advantage you can provide, and for this reason, your price can reduce, you can be more competitive. According to the leak document, now let's come the emission intensity 2.9 tons per calculations. So if you go with this formulate, what it happens, it was close to 1 million, and when you make this one formulate without any hedge, your cost
milyonla başlayıp 40 bin milyona kadar.
goes to 41 million in 2026, and in total 240 million tons of cost. And if you hedge with the same conditions, 42% of actually advantage in the price. We assume and accept that the emission trade system starts in Turkey, and then there's a price on top. It's like 10 euros. It is planned 10 to 15 euros. Let's take it 10. And in these conditions, the CBAM certificate will be the same, but some of them will be paid to Turkey. The rest will be paid in European Union, and it will be less. But there is one thing I want to say which is important. The pocket to be taken is the same for carbon, whether European Commission, you need to pay that money from carbon. You either will pay commission and that money will go as carbon tax from your pocket. And in this situation, if you hedge the same condition, 65% gross, it provides a saving for you. These are very high, so when it goes to your per ton cost, why it is important? You have seen Turkey as an industry giant, European Union. Actually, all these calculations, they are taking Turkey as an example in calculations. What kind of an effect it goes to the system, and as draft suggested in the steel industry, in the aluminium, actually between Turkey and America, average CO2 intensity per product, Turkey is not in a good conditions, and aluminium is 170% more carbon intensive, and Turkey's steel industry 370% more carbon intense. The situation is not good, and what European Union wants to do is not that wrong. We need to look at this point of view. We need to be just. What kind of a strategy can be done? As I said, as we have customers more than 40 places and we talk with them, and all the customers in the carbon industry, they are big emitters. For 3 years we discuss CBAM with them, and everything feedback we are getting from them. Need for creativity. We need to understand what it is, because CBAM is not clear. They want to understand, and in order to make further contract, imagine you're a steel trader, you don't know what it is, certainly you don't know what will be the cost. So they want clarity. Emission trade system or carbon is not your problem. You are steel or cement industry. Carbon is far to you. It is a great risk for them. And in emission trade system or not, You cannot go one-on-one purchaser from the industry. It is uncertainty, and in the emission trade system, there is flexibility. You can buy or sell. There is no deadline, but CBAM is not like that. And the issue of access to CBAM certificate is not EUA purchase. Access is limited. So that what we do, we created a product after 2 years. Virgin CBAM certificate. We got this trademark, and this is a product addressing all these topics. I will not go on, but please know that it exists. We can talk details later. From here to companies which are subjected to CBAM, whatever industry you're in. If you want to determine the price from now, we can fix it. And today it is traded from 83. Then I want 2031. How much volume you want? You can say 25%, 50%, or 100%. Or if you say my budget is not okay, 2 years only, it's up to you, based including 2026 exposure. And we created something flexible. So if you want, you can sell these products, transfer them, or you can do whatever you want. Just like EUA, it's like a commodity or investment tool. It is flexible. We don't put a debt on that. We can make the agreement as you want, and then there are no hidden additional cost comes. If the price is 83, then there won't be any additional cost. There will not be an expiry, and if you want, you can say I hit the certificate, but in 2027 my export change, I don't need it. I purchased 50 tons only for that auction. What was the average CBAM certificate? Let's say 125 euros. Please return my money. You paid 83, and 3 years later 125, whatever certificate face value, we return it back to you. So in no place there is no escaping. And as I said, if you want to understand regarding the carbon, if you want to make more data and to make strategy on that, we like it a lot in Europe. Educated decision. It's not my main topic, but I want to get idea to set my strategy, and we provide this to you. And to CBAM or emission trade system will come to you in Turkey. What is waiting for you? What you should do? How we can help you? And we can shape all these together. This was my presentation. If you have questions, I can get them. Mr. Uğur, I'm sorry, please.
Anıl Hanım. Diyeceğim.
Thank you so much. We are late in the program. Only few questions maybe we can take.
Aynen Uğur Bey.
Öncelikle çok teşekkür
First of all, thank you a lot. But I wanted to clarify a point. As Turkey, we claim that, and actually this is verified. We have the highest and cleanest steel, 75% arc furnace, and it's only 700 kilos per tons. If it is from raw, it's 2, let's say, and the European Union based on, or 35% is based on scrap. And when you get the average, one part is 1.5 tons in Turkey. 1 ton, what does it mean? In Europe steel industry, when you compare with Turkey, it's 50% more, and it is negative impacted. I believe it is for the good of Turkey. And when you look at the steel sources of Europe, our rivals, Russia, Japan, Korea, India, and from 70 to 90% it is all ore oriented. But your picture confused me. So for others, there should be higher. And thank you so much. Like we agreed. So if I ask this comment now, we have two more topics. Most importantly, with the default data, if we go with them, we see, and definitely we need to verify well. This will make us advantageous. This data is coming from the leaked document, and they will be more specific, and Turkey will be advantageous. We are showing them with the current data, and whatever data we have, we are going on that. But of course, I cannot tell the name, but with a steel company we work with, and their emissions is 1/10 of these, are very low. Great, perfect. Therefore, I cannot put their data, it won't happen, but legally we put it, but Turkey is advantageous. This is the good news. It is a lot on industry. CBAM is a policy with lots of uncertainties. It's expensive, but the good news, Turkey will be in upfront, and Turkey will be much more upfront, and our company was not related with Turkey market. I live in London. They invited me. I live in there. Turkey will be in the. I was there to start this for my country. I volunteered to develop this product for my country, so I made politic lobbying for my country. Sizlerin de bu ürünü o gözle bakmanızı rica ediyorum. Bu önemli bir üründür. Tüketildiği zaman Avrupa bunu yapıyor bakın. Avrupa yönetsel gelecek. The Greece in the maritime industry, all the industries. I'm working with 22 companies in maritime. I'm always telling Greece 75% hedged the 2026 emissions. You need to do to compete, because you will pay that money, but from today you can get for 50% better, and this will be advantage for you. It will help you competitive. It is very important, and the European Union leaves it to you. You can apply this strategy, because they apply it. I'm sorry, for cement industry, a few months ago when I talked, one of the CEO talks to me, Mrs. Anıl, you tell very well, but this is a game of the West. Okay, yes, it is, and I'm giving you stick with the certificate. Just break their game with the stick. There isn't many things to do. The Western will apply it, and if we take measures, we will be advantageous, and maybe in the inside, as you know, EBRD, World Bank, Development Bank, they give the highest credit, highest loans to Turkey. Why? Because Turkey has potential, and they are the cost from the CBAM. If we can have additional budget by hedging, this will convert to decarbonization, and it will ease on you in the long term. And it will give you an advantage for Turkish carbon trade. There is CBAM, and also there is Turkish carbon trade emission that you will have an additional cost as well. The reason we say hedging, it's this. Some of them we say 6 to 8 gross. It's a huge difference. We need to see this opportunity window. If you assume not coming, it will be the highest risk. Thank you. One more question then. We are the steel pipe exporters, Mr. Uğur, in the morning. while he talk about the same words in CBAM, there is always changes. Maybe he can mention this. We also agree on that here among our customers. It's not now. We know that as the steel exporters, but the prices you say our customers will pay, and then we cannot hedge it because the exporters will pay this, so we don't have chance to hedge this as far as I know, because the payer will, the buyer will pay, because as they don't know, there is two more things I need to take your opinions. For the exporters, we always tell about us. Will there be a difference? I believe in before 2026, everyone after 2026, they need to be getting a system and approval. And if it is not approved there, then they won't be able to export. And the second topic, the questions are coming about this verification after 2026. European Union didn't declare which topics will be in verification, when it will be clear, because everyone is asking documents. So the document companies to verify are not uncertain. How shall we act on that? Thank you. Let me start from the last one. Yes, EU did not certain who are the verifiers, and they will list because there is a certain time for that. Actually, there are many topics they need to take decision. That's why they are waiting. And in European Commission will certain determine verifiers from Europe. I think they will not make from out of Europe. And I don't think no one will get verifier, and there is no certain list, then you will select from there. And then the responsibility might seem like it is not in you, but the price, it depends on how you sign the contract. The CBAM will reflect you this. It's not like you cannot hedge. What I mean by that, 100,000 tons you can say in 2026. It is certain 200,000 tons, whatever, or 20,000 tons. If it is certain, then you can do your hedge, and then if you have 10 companies, you can tell us we want to send X company, and then by making CBAM cost 0, and then I can send that cost for certificate. Or right now all the exporters out of Europe, we do this, and with the steel traders in European Union, they started hedging. Actually, in 2026, 2027, it will reflect 95, but for the hedge, 75 they costed. And the reason I'm giving you stick, what they take, 75. You will say 105. Is that right? Or 125. And I say you, if you get the risk, and then you will get the advantage. Because this certificate can be transferred or purchased. Or one more question. I'm sorry, I couldn't finish the answer. All the importers in EU are added into the system. They need to be in the system, so they will get that certificates for CBAM. We say legal responsibility, they need to register there, otherwise they can't import or export. Thank you for your detailed information. This virtual CBAM certificate issue if I'm not wrong, until 2027, these UIE certificates, CBAM certificates will not be traded, but we can trade virtually from today. How you hedge yourself from the green energy companies in the other side, and with how much time? Is it 3 years? CBAM certificates, when they are in the market, they will be valid for 2 years in 2027, not now. And EUA's life is until the end, EUA market until the last day, and CBAM certificates not. We are in this industry as 21 years as a company. Our founder, environmental desk of Barclay Bank, and taking the first step of the carbon markets with 20 years of experience from today, somehow hedging. Of course, EUA actually what we are hedging. This is our risk because our job is not steel. I cannot answer anything about steel. If I want to take a risk about steel, I should come to you. I would ask you. I will pay for you, and you can give me expertise. And regarding carbon, it's my job. I can do it. You know, EUAs are sold in the market. It doesn't matter where it is produced. You just purchase EUA. Thank you. We will get last 2 questions and then finish.
It's from Climbs. And thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. I didn't know you were here. Hi.
And just one comment. Your example was based on default values, which I think it's easy to calculate.
Recent leak that you posted on LinkedIn, if you remember.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I just think that the most realistic example should be based on real values, right? And especially because the ones that will be published, the defaults will be probably way too high.
Exactly.
I also see that there is quite some misconception that green steel is scrap-based only, which is, according to CBAM, not really true. Remember that, I mean, we all should remember that there are 3 benchmarks: blast furnace, DRI, and scrap. And according to the most recent information, you can have a hybrid and personalized benchmark. So 20% scrap, 80% DRI producer will have a different benchmark than a 100% scrap one. And so it's very important to calculate this benchmark now as well on top of the emissions. And this benchmark, the final one, will be also subject to verification. So only known by early 2027.
First quarter, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hopefully. So yeah, it's just a brief comment that we at Climbs, we are the EU's leading CBAM software solution, and we can help if anyone wants to calculate its benchmark. And thank you, Anil, again for the presentation.
Thank you very much for contribution.
Thank you, Nicholas.
So,
Son soru.
tabii.
Final question. Thank you. My name is Uğur from Uğur Mesetal. We took lots of time. You can ask in the coffee break. Thank you. We provide galvanization plates. We export to Europe, and these are confidential data, but making anonymous galvanized plate producers in Turkey 0.49, 0.94 carbon value, and it changed 2 tons. And among them, the final specific values are under the expectations. And I agree with this cost structure to Mr. Uğur. We could be, I cannot foresee the specific values, but it will not be competitive for galvanized plate at least. But as we produce it, these data, especially 070 going with our European gap will be open in favor of us. First of all, our calculations when we make in current leak and whatever leaked or announced, we need to do over the basis of them. But I agree with you, and I want to remind once more, Turkey can get a great advantage. This is the time. It is very important. As you know, we don't get a payment for that. For instance, from the CBAM report, if you share your data in the worst case scenario, based on actual leaked over a few scenario, what will be the cost to you? We can share with you, and yours is different, your neighbors is different, your calculations are your exposures. And when we say steel industry, not everyone will be the same. Therefore, in order to set your own strategy, you need to go with correct data. And secondly, when the data comes, you can revise, but it is for sure that you are exposed to CBAM. Even it is not verified if you have measured approximately it is your final, your uncertain CBAM. No, it is not. If you have measured yourself, then if you followed as to how it should be measured, then definitely it will give you the real thing. My recommendation is worst case scenario. You need to see the difference in the real case, and at least if you do measuring and over them, you can make your hedging, so that we call this opportunity window. It is important. This is the reason I have developed this product for 3 years as a team, and it will provide a big advantage to Turkey. Please think the CBM will not be gone when you wake up. Thank you so much, Mrs. Anıl.